Hey everyone, welcome back to Resistance Book Club. My name is Keita, and this here will be S.A. Cosby Reads. Yes, long overdue. Yeah. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. All right, so it's been a long time coming. I needed to do this. So yeah, I read all of S.A. Cosby's. I believe I read all of them. If there is some, I think the only one I'm dying to read is his collaboration with Questlove for Rhythm on Time. I really want to read that one. But with that being said, I have enjoyed all of his books, and I'm like, I gotta talk about it, right? We gotta talk about it. So I'll be going over all of the books that I read, and then after that, we'll talk about the author. So let's go. All right, first one is All the Sinners Bleed. Yeah. All right. So Titus Crown is the first black sheriff in the history of Sharon County, Virginia. In recent decades, Quiet Sharon has had only two murders, but after years of working as an FBI agent, Titus knows better than anyone that while his hometown might seem like a land of moonshine, cornbread, and a honeysuckle, secrets always fester under the surface. Then a year to the day after Titus's election, the school teacher is killed by a former student, and the student is fatally shot by Titus's deputies. As Titus investigates the shootings, he unearths terrible crimes and a serial killer who has been hiding in plain sight, haunting the dirt lanes and woodland clearance of Sharon. With the killer's possible connections to a local church and the town's harrowing history weighing on him, Titus projects confidence about closing the case while concealing a painful secret from his own past. At the same time, he also has to contend with a far right group that wants to hold a parade in celebration of the town's Confederate history. Sharon is Titus's home and his heart, but where faith and violence meet, there will be a reckoning. Powerful and unforgettable, All the Sinners Bleed confirms S.A. Cosby as one of the most muscular, distinctive, grab you by both ears voices in American crime fiction. Written by the Washington Post. So listenership is 13 hours and 5 minutes, and it is narrated by Adam Lazar White. Honey, this here. I had given it 5 stars. Reason being is that prior to that, I had read Razorblade Tears, and we'll find out what I given it when I do that one. The progression in his writing made me give him the 5 stars, and you'll understand when I get deeper into it. This here was so effing good. And I mean, just the beginning of it to what was unfolding and kept unfolding. And then we get to the end, and it was like, whoa, we're about to have a whole like war go down in this county. So everything was so good. I love Titus as a character. He has all the trappings of what a black male, a former FBI agent, and then being a sheriff in a county such as Sharon. So love how he was just moving around, trying to do the best that he can, making the decisions the best way he can by delegating a mix of races, white cops, and dealing with the school shooting and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I love serial killers. So anything with a story about serial killers, we're good. Now, if you are able to execute that, it's a different story. And in this case, he executed this story flawlessly, and it was a joy. It was a joy to listen to. I really enjoy it. Adam Lazar, he does great. Apparently he narrates all of his novels, but definitely it was really worth the read. And all of the characters, the side characters that were in there, it was still good. It had some comedic chops in there, of course, and but so that we don't make it too serious. But also the pacing of it just keeps going. Like it's that pacing is just like boom, 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 boom. You know. But yeah, man, it was really good, really good. So, with that being said, let's go on to the next one. And the next one that I read is My Darkest Prayer. So, this one, whether it's working at his cousin's funeral home or tossing around the local riffraff at his favorite bar, Nathan Waymaker is a man who knows how to handle the bodies. A former Marine and sheriff's deputy, Nathan has built a reputation in his small southern town as a man who can help when all other avenues have been exhausted. When a beloved local minister is found dead, his parishioners ask Nathan to make sure the death isn't swept under the rug. When what starts out as an easy payday soon descends into a maze of mayhem filled with wannabe gangsters, vicious crime lords, porn stars, crooked police officers, and a particularly treacherous preacher and his mysterious wife. Nathan must use all his varied skills and some of his wit to navigate the murky waters of small town corruption, even as dark secrets of his own threaten to come to the surface. The listenership is 9 hours and 24 minutes. And again, it is narrated by Adam Lazar White. And this one here was actually one of his first books, I believe, because I listened to the very beginning and it was saying Cosby was saying like how he came up with the idea, the writing, and all of that, and I thought that was pretty cool. And so listening to this, it was still good, but I could tell that it was his beginning stages of writing to where he is with all the sinners bleed and to where we are with my darkest where we were with my darkest prayer is like wow, wow. Now you got me hooked because now I'm interested in what you got to offer, for future. And the writing of it, very it's definitely there, but you can tell that a lot of the elements were somewhat missing, but not really missing. But you can tell we were sprucing up to what is all the sinners bleed, if that makes sense. You have to understand what I'm saying. Like, my darkest prayer is his beginner. And then where we are right now to all the sinners bleed is definite progression in his writing. I love the character Nathan and how he works for his cousin at the funeral home. And, these women were like, no, you need to check out, see what happened, blah, 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 blah. And, again, it has all the trappings of what all his other books, you know, where the characters are starting to like really formulate and come from. And I really, really enjoyed it. Made me appreciate this here more because if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have what we have now with all of his other books. So I really thought it was good. Um, but with that being said, I actually given this a 4 star only because it was good, but it wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? And then you just see the potential of him becoming great, Cosby, So, yeah, 4 stars, but definitely worth the read for real. Like, definitely worth the read. So, next one, I think it's everybody's favorite, Razorblade Tears. And this one here, Ike Randolph has been out of jail for 15 years with not so much as a speeding ticket in all that time. But a black man with cops at the door knows to be afraid. The last thing he expects to hear is that his son Isaiah has been murdered, along with Isaiah's white husband, Derek. Ike had never fully accepted his son, but is devastated by his loss. Derek's father, Buddy Lee, was almost as ashamed as Derek for being gay as Derek was ashamed his father was a criminal. Buddy Lee still has contacts in the underworld though, and he wants to know who killed his boy. Ike and Buddy Lee, two ex-cons with little else in common other than a criminal past and a love for their dead sons, band together in their desperate desire for revenge. In their quest to do better for their sons in death than they did in life, hardened men Ike and Buddy Lee will hardened men Ike and Buddy Lee will confront their own prejudices about their sons and each other as they rain down vengeance upon those who hurt their boys. Ooh, yes. So provocative and fast-paced essay Cosby Razorblade Tears is a story of bloody retribution, heartfelt change, and maybe even redemption. This here, the listenership is a total of 12 hours, and again, it is narrated by Adam Lazar White. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody gave this joint a 5 star because that's exactly what it is. And you can see that with Ike, again, some of these characters is being built from My Darkest Prayer, and it's really great. I love Ike, but my favorite was Buddy Lee. Buddy Lee really wasn't as bad as I thought he was because even though, both fathers just couldn't accept their sons being gay, I think that Buddy Lee just really, he did have somewhat of a prejudice attitude, but it was light work considering because the minute he gets with Ike, things just started to shed its skin, shed the layers because in order for you to even get to the place of being friends, you have to understand the root of where you want this to go. And in order to be friends or even consider each other friends. So I love that journey and I love the bickering between them two. It was so hilarious. And yes, I actually just see Sam Elliott just playing this all the way through. I don't know who would play Ike, like a big man Ike, because I don't know any big man actor right now that's like that. They would have to be big, but I don't know any others like that. But anyway, it was so good. It read like a movie, like a real thorough movie, and I believe that it's in the works of becoming a movie. Um, don't know if Sam Elliott is playing Buddy Lee. That would be nice. Um, but yeah, it was just so good. I love it. I love the back and forth. I love the journey. I love like how my favorite scene in the book is when his assistant, the girl, was in there and those guys came in and it's a whole scene. I don't want to give nothing away, but it was a whole scene in there. Um and then, of course, there's twists, turns, secrets revealed, and all of that. But definitely so worth the read. It literally like everything in all in one sitting. The amazing thing I think is the full circle moment of Ike and Buddy Lee. I think that's the full circle moment. And at the end of the day, those are still their sons and they still have love for their sons. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. But of course, it's what happened with them two, and it flourishes, like literally like a blooming flower. It flourishes, and yeah, it was just so good. It's so good. I really love the full circle moment. Like it really did something. So yep, definitely a 5 star. So last one that I read, which is Blacktop Wasteland, and this one here is Beauregard. I hope I pronounced it right because I know they said it a few times. Bogart Bug Montage is an honest mechanic, a loving husband, and a hardworking dad. Bug knows there's no future in the man he used to be. Known from the hills of North Carolina to the beaches of Florida as the best wheelman on the East Coast. He thought he left all of that behind him, but as his carefully built new life begins to crumble, he finds himself drawn inexorably back into a world of blood and bullets. When a smooth talking former associate comes calling with a can't miss jewelry store heist, Bug feels he has no choice but to get back in the driver's seat. And Bug is at his best where the scent of gasoline mixes with the smell of fear. Haunted by the ghosts of who he used to be and the father who disappeared when he needed him most, Bug must find a way to navigate this blacktop wasteland or die trying. Like Ocean's 11 meets Drive with a Southern noir twist, they say Cosby's Blacktop Wasteland is a searing, operatic story of a man pushed to his limits by poverty, race, and his own former life of crime. This one here, listenership is 11 hours, 8 minutes. And again, narrated by Adam Lazar White. And this one here, I had given this 4.7, 4.7, because I love the Ocean's 11 vibe and I love the Drive vibes. I knew where it was, and I'm a huge Ocean's 11 fan. So you had me with the heist, okay? So definitely great. Love Bug as a character. He definitely is not one to be inspired by. Love how the whole um, going back in the past as to what how him and his father, or I should say, how his father used to do the same thing that he's doing currently, and all the way to what was going on currently in his life. I thought that was great. Love the driving. It felt like I was a part of the driving. Um, love how it literally took, of course, it's someone of your own, and then you just lose it and ready to go. Okay, ready to go buck wild in Blacktop Wasteland. Um, but he was a hell of a driver. I would love to see this on screen. A hell of a driver. Really good at what he does, clearly, because his father was doing the same thing. And yeah, like everything about it, a hell of a trappings. Now, why did I give this a 4.75? Because this here was the in between. So clearly is My Darkest Prayer, then Blacktop Wasteland, then Razorblade Tears, and then All the Sinners Bleed. And you can just kind of pinpoint, like, he's just getting better and better with his writing. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the author. So, with the author, his writing definitely has stepped up. Like his progression from My Darkest Prayer to All the Sinners Bleed definitely progressed tremendously. I would love to see what he does in the next book. Like it's gonna have to be way better than All the Sinners Bleed. Um, and push himself, like push yourself to do better. And I think he does that. The characters is clearly is the same formula a little bit, because each one, they're all the same characters in a way, but it still feels like a different person. And that's one of the great things about it. In each one of these books, there are totally different stories, and but they all kind of have like the same headspace a little bit, same mindset. And what else, the like all of the trappings of like, oh, the same height, same build. They live in a small county, small town. And yeah, that's what I'm getting from each one of these. And it's cool as long as it's done right. And he seems to be doing it right. So I haven't had any issues with that. Good thing too is I think when it comes to S.A. Cosby, it should just read one book out of the year. Because again, I think if you keep reading of it, it's kind of like the same thing over and over and over again. And you don't want to do that all the time. So, um, love the description of, wherever we are in the books. Seems like I'm there in that small town. I love the description of the action scenes because he does that very great and flawlessly. Love the side characters because there's always some type of comedic chops. There's somewhat of, like little, how would I say, like not like a little side story or whatever, but more so like details of certain things that go on that kind of will help like push the story along. And I just love how these characters like really just come to life in these pages and can't wait to see them on screen because they are definitely playing out like a movie on screen. And I think that's it about it. I think, oh, also too, like with the logic of it, he does execute it because it's the same thing. You're just talking about like the racism, you're talking about vengeance, the, you know, things that go on within the community in a small town, so to speak, especially with Black people and with Black men living in that predominantly uh, white male small town area. So I love all of that. We don't really get to see much of that on screen, so it would be great to see that on screen. And yeah, I mean everything. He's definitely an autobi for me. I can't wait to see what he does next. And with that being said, that is it for this video. So let me know down in the comment sections. How did you read any of these books? Is there any books on this list that you would need to read? And if you have read, which ones? Did you like it? Didn't like it? Just let me know. And who do you see playing Ike and Buddy Lee? That's what I like to know. All right, so that's it for this video. This is the way. Peace.